Is this thing on?
It's on. We
Hello?
on. We live.
Oh, we back. Okay.
We back. We
Oh, people
back
still
and we
listen.
back and we back and we
Hey,
back. Hey, what's that from again?
it's
Oh,
always
John.
delightful.
What's that? We back
What's the
and we
song?
back. We back and we back. Is that John Forever?
Yes, but you made me think so hard for that.
Really? Was it not?
That
Could you
oh,
not tell?
you didn't even do the harmony even almost correctly, but yes. My brain looked through the depths of my music knowledge
You
and I
do it.
pulled it back.
We back and we back. We back and we back. I don't know.
Oh my god, I'm gonna
I don't,
shoot you.
I don't
Stop
know.
it.
I don't know what I'm
Stop
missing
doing
out here.
that.
We back and we back. I don't know. I'm not
Like
sure.
the thing is, I'm trying to say it, but then I keep hearing your version
Yeah.
and then it leaves me. What's the
And
song
it
though?
go uh it's Chance the Rapper.
Yeah.
It's I can't remember what the next thing is. I just know it's we back and we back. But I don't know what we go into after that. I'm not sure what the Oh, and the way they worked it, and it makes me crazy. And the way they face it, do it and that it daisy, and they
To
bam
make the song, and I said it again. Now that if you ever hear me blushing, brother, better than I had that deal. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That is a song. But the way you
Yeah.
said, and we back, and we back, and
You
we
couldn't tell.
back.
You couldn't tell what you're saying.
Jesus, you hurt my brain. Anyway, we got there in the end. We got there.
We got that in. We got that in. I'm in like quite a musical mood today. I'm like in a I've been
Why is
singing
that?
songs all day. I don't know. I just sometimes you like in a singing mood. Like you wake up and you just start you put on like a Disney soundtrack or you put like Guijo songs on or do you ever have that?
Did you? Yeah, maybe. The only time I ever see people singing like uncontrollably is they either just exercised and they're feeling real good. Oh no, sorry. They either exercise and they're feeling real good. They're about to go out. You know the prep. Do you remember what we used to do for prep?
With like t-shirt time kind of stuff. What
I'm,
do you do
I'm,
for
I'll tell
prep?
I'll tell the story. I'll tell the
Yes,
story.
do.
But and then the third one is when they're eating really yummy food, like really really good food. They just sort of break.
Mm.
That's
I
the
don't
only
know.
one.
Yeah, that's a
But I
good
was
one as
saying,
well.
do you remember? Do you remember when we were young and we'd be like get ready for a night out? Do you remember what we used to do?
Tell me.
You don't remember? There was like a solid 2 3 years of our lives where we'd always play. It was two songs. It was Teenage Crime and it was Cause tonight's gonna be a
Yeah,
good
good
night.
night. And tonight. I do
Tonight's
remember that,
gonna.
man. Dude, we had to play that
I
every
was
time we
like
went out.
every
And
single prep, like our pregame. That was our pregame.
I remember we couldn't play that song unless we knew it was going to be a good night as well. So it's like it was going to be like a casual night in Rosebank. Can't play that song. But if you're
No,
going
no,
to
you
go to a
can't.
party, then you go, tonight's gonna
That's
be
gonna yeah.
a good night. Yeah, no,
You
I
played
remember
that,
that.
and you had your what was the clothing label? Aka Joe's. You had
Oh,
your Aka Joe
dude.
shirt or your Hilton wear.
We used to go through AB and
Oh,
Zach's cupboard.
oh yeah, we used to go through their cupboard like, okay, what fits me? What did you buy?
I
What
don't
is
know.
cool?
I don't know why they're just like the most stylish kids around, but we used to go to their house and just wear all their clothes. I mean, like we'd all be just go out and just dress in their
Yeah,
and
they
their
why did they
stuff.
have so much swag?
I don't know. They're just
No,
obviously
remember no why? Because they were the first guys that were actually friends with girls.
maybe that's what it was.
Do you know what I mean? Like, but like hang out with them and be like, hey, let's go shopping. Like they would do very cat like normal things with girls that wasn't in the, pursuit of their attention, if that's the best way to say
Yeah,
it.
they just hang out with him, and then so they got
And
good
they would
fashion
always put
advice.
them on. Yeah, they would always put them on.
That makes sense.
So we'd
That
always be
makes a lot
one
of
step
sense.
behind them. Yeah, I do remember that being a
I
thing.
remember that.
So yeah, if
Um,
you guys are listening to this, younger ones, it's good to just be friends with girls,
yeah, it's always good.
just friends.
It's always good to have like a balanced gender percentage around. That's a good
Yeah.
idea.
And hey, look, gender, it's actually very specific these days. So whatever, you know,
Yeah, whatever it is. Like I mean, whatever gender that you want to hang
whatever makes
around.
you happy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. I think it's good to have if you have like masculine energy around, it's good to have feminine
Ooh,
energy around as well.
I like how you did that. That was very academic and specific.
Thank you. I
Very
appreciate that.
correct.
I was
Very
quite
correct.
I was
No one can cancel you
I
at
was
all.
very particular about my wording. because I feel like masculine energy, when there's too much masculine energy around, and there's no counterbalance, that's when things start getting aggro and people start fighting and whatever.
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
is if there's feminine energy around, then that aggro testosterone gets like taken down a little bit, and people act more civilized and more calm. So I think that's always important.
The
The
pedestal.
pedestal.
The pedestal.
Over 100. I do have a question for you though.
Yeah.
That was actually given to us by a long time listener. Shout out Rachel. So when is it okay to pull a sickie at work? Because obviously we're all trying to be productive individuals and you want to get get ahead in our careers and stuff. When is it okay
Yes.
to pull a sickie? Like you like this is
Okay.
makes sense.
Do you want me to do you want me to give the actual code away right now?
Yeah, give it away.
Because I'm gonna give you the proper code.
Give me the code.
Like this is
Give me a gem.
we Loki should be charging for this, but I'm giving you the proper code of
Drop.
the adequate way to call in for your paid sick leave. Now, first thing we need to establish sick leave doesn't come out of thin air. You earn that shit.
Okay.
It is earned. A lot of people, I was actually with a couple of mates the other day and we were sort of discussing sick leave. And this guy was like, I can count how many times, a friend of mine, I can count on my one hand the amount of times I've been sick. And we were like, well, that's dumb. You're
That's
an idiot.
why would you do that? You're working
You've
yourself
got
to death.
hundreds of hours of sick leave. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So anyway, I was only saying that to say, just remember you earn your sick leave. It's earned. Number two, sick leave. Can't do a Monday, can't do a Friday.
Yeah. That's never a thing.
It's non-negotiable. And if you do Monday or Friday, you got to take it all the way. So what I mean by take it all the way is either you go see a doctor on Monday or Friday, get that note, so there's no debate, there's no chatter.
Yeah.
Number
No,
one,
sure.
or you got to double up on the sick day and go get the note the next day. So
What
if
do
you're
you
sick
mean?
on Monday, you got to
Yeah.
be sick on Tuesday. Like you got to let people know, yo,
Oh,
I'm
you can't
sick.
come in on Tuesday.
Yeah,
That's
you can't fake it.
that's a giveaway.
Yeah. Now, the rest of them, it's always got to be Wednesday, Thursday.
Wednesday,
Wednesday,
Thursday?
Thursdays. Yeah, Wednesday, Thursday, and preferably when you're not busy. So like when things kind of slow down, quiet down,
Sure.
and also try to be strategic. Maybe you got to do laundry, the dentist, and see the physio. Like line that up on that day.
Get that all in one day, so it's like you get
Yeah,
all that done. Don't have to worry about it so much. Yeah, that makes sense. But I think
yeah.
I think the question was, when is it okay to lie about being sick to take a sickie? Like, is it ever okay? Maybe it's never okay. But are there certain events in life that happens when it's okay to take a sickie?
Now, see, I don't think anyone ever lies to just lay in bed and chill and whatever, because I think we play with burnout too much.
Yeah.
And like, if you've been working flat out for weeks on weeks, like maybe you deserve a day off just because. Like maybe you do actually need to just recharge. Maybe it could, some people think I'm taking a mental health day means I'm just going to sit in bed all day. Maybe it's just your house is in disarray and you just want to organize yourself a bit better. Or, you just want to, you know, knock off some things that aren't work related. Or you actually do just want to sit and recharge and maybe you've been getting 4 or 5 hours sleep for the last 20 days and you just want to lay in bed and get a 12, 15-hour sleep to get yourself back for the next day. So
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't ever think people just straight up lie about it so they can go to the beach and
And
drink all day. I don't think that's a thing.
I think that's definitely a thing. First of all, I mean,
Oh,
not
you reckon guys booze up?
100%. I know people who've done that, and not something
No,
I do.
I'm not saying hungover. I'm saying I'm taking the sick day so I can booze up.
Yeah, yeah, no, exactly.
Oh,
People go
I
like,
know nothing about that.
dude, like, oh man, it's gonna be a nice day tomorrow. Let's let's just get fucked up. It's like,
Oh,
dude, but I got work. Yeah,
with the sick day.
yeah. Oh, one hundred
Yeah, see,
percent.
I know nothing about that to my
Yeah.
future employer.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
Um,
no,
or
but
to
I mean,
anyone who listens to this podcast, eventually that I will work with in the future. I know nothing about that.
I look. I've never done it
I
myself.
completely remove
I
my
think
hand.
I think I've pulled a sickie maybe twice before, and like a dishonest sickie, and I felt so bad about it. I don't think I'll ever do it again. Like honestly, it like really rocked me to my moral core. But I think both times it was for job interviews for other companies.
Oh no, that's fine.
And then yeah, that makes sense. Like you would have
Oh
been like
yeah,
a
you
different
got to do
space.
those.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, the dentist. The dentist takes many forms. That's
Yeah.
the standard one. Oh yeah, no, I
No,
had to go see
sure.
a dentist
Okay. But you take a
in
whole day
three
off for the
times in a
dentist though.
week. Oh no, you got to. My dentist is 45 minutes away,
Ah, I see. Okay, so it's
and
it's
who knows
a
what I have to do after I see him.
yeah,
I've
fair
I've
enough.
got to take the day off. Hey, I might come back in and do a couple hours, but like, who knows what will
Mm,
happen? And
okay.
once again, it goes back to a fundamental, the thing I said right at the beginning: sick leave is earned.
Yeah.
You're not
Okay.
stealing it from anyone.
Sure. It's your day to take
It's,
off.
you earned it. It sits. It literally sits there on a balance sheet, being like, we have lost this money already.
I
Like that's how the
see.
company budgets for it.
Okay, so you might as well take it then.
Exactly. Well, man, I was speaking to a friend of ours, close friend of mine, and he was like, "Oh, I'd never leave a place with sick leave left.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Like when I'm about to leave, I just start taking it off.
And then you say, but then you have to fake sick. How do you fake sick? Like, I
No,
don't
you
know.
follow the protocols.
What are the protocols?
The protocols is never on a Monday or Friday,
Yeah.
Wednesday, Thursday, once every 3 weeks. Then it goes undetected,
Ah, okay.
never found.
That makes
Once a
sense.
month actually is the best way,
Yeah.
but once every 3 weeks, they'll never even see it coming.
But I had a trick for this. So basically, what you do is you don't message them at like 8 or 9. You message them at like 4. You
Yeah. Oh
message
yeah. Oh, 100%. Oh yeah.
you
Sorry,
message
I should have said that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, you
You
message
got
your
to
boss.
come in hot.
You have to message them at
You're like,
4
oh, this guy
a.m.
hasn't slept. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
like I can't sleep. My stomach's been going crazy all day.
Oh,
I
this. Oh, sorry. And you're right there. Sorry to cut you off.
yeah,
You gotta go with the stomach.
because
Gotta go with the stomach.
no one can play
You
with
can't
stomach.
play.
Because even
Yeah,
if you
stomach isn't
even
even a conversation anyone wants to have.
yeah,
No one
it's
wants to
like
talk about stomachs.
what do you mean your stomach? Oh, I've been shitting myself for 4 hours. No one wants to hear that. No one wants to hear
Nah,
that
it's not a
conversation. No.
conversation.
So you say
No.
you've messaged them at 4 a.m. or as early as possible, 6 a.m. I said, listen, I've been awake all night. My stomach is going crazy. I hope it's better by the time I have to get in, but I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be good by that time. Um,
Oh yeah,
obviously,
a rest up. That's
or
the evening.
if you want to add like an extra detail, you say like, oh, it something's going crazy, both ends kind of stuff,
Oh, the both ends. You
and
gotta be
then
careful. With both ends.
and then
That's like a superpower.
but then people, yeah,
That's a
no,
super chat.
yeah,
You gotta save that one. That's
with
like
great power comes great responsibility.
exactly
Yeah,
the both ends one. Oh,
that's
you actually can't come in. That's a 2 day sacrifice.
I think that's if you need. I think if you like want a
Yeah,
holiday away, if you want like a cheap
yeah.
holiday, like cheap Airbnb, because you know that they're not in demand
If
in
you
a
want to
week.
catch a long weekend, you want to catch
Yeah,
a long weekend. Yeah,
that's
yeah.
you pull
Get
that
off for
one.
a week.
Yeah,
Both ends,
both
bro.
ends. Because also if it's you say stomach's going crazy, they say like, oh, this person's just hungover. But we say both ends, they go, woof, that's a bug that I don't want anywhere near me. So please don't come in at all.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
And the thing
Um,
is, everyone knows the experience of both ends.
yeah,
It's not to be played with.
it's the worst
Like
thing
it's not a
possible.
joke.
So you can't screw with that. There's no way you can
Dude,
screw
it
it.
happened to me. It happened to me on the first day of boarding school.
Oh yeah,
When I first moved in, or the first week I moved in, something happened. I was just dying 3 a.m. in the
are you being
Ushas
serious,
toilets.
dude? I had no idea
Just
this
both
happened.
ends. No one knew. I was awake by myself, dying.
Yo, that's
Like I
horrible.
vomited on my floor and then I vomited in the bathroom and I was just both ends. Like sit, turn, just vomiting into my own shit. Yeah, it was not great.
That's the worst thing I've ever heard
It
in my whole
was a
life.
rough experience. Yeah,
I I
it was top, it's top five.
I can
Top five
imagine.
of like the most disgusting experiences of my life.
I think the worst thing that I've had, because I can't remember the last time I had both ends. I think I was too young. But I do remember
Mhm.
one day being
I
so
was 14.
hungover.
Yeah.
I was so hungover. It was like at university when I was sitting on the toilet and sitting on the toilet, and then I felt stuff coming up, and I was like, oh no, I can't do anything about this. And then I can't believe I'm telling this on the podcast. This is disgusting. I might have to cut this out. And then just chandering on my feet in the public bathroom and then just sitting there because I can't move now. I've still got to finish what's coming out of my stomach. So I'm just sitting there
Yeah. Oh.
and I'm just like twiddling the vomit between my toes, just like this is the worst thing. That's ever because I was trying to move.
Oh,
It's nothing, and vomit has like that real thick, like
that
salty
stickiness to
water.
it, that sticky
Yeah,
texture to it.
it
Yeah,
was like a
yeah.
weird
That
texture in my feet.
residual. Wait, it
Yeah, it
was
was
in your
weird.
feet? Wait,
It was
why are you
on my
barefoot
feet.
in the public toilet?
What I'm wearing slops because I was going to
Oh,
shower
why are you wearing
afterwards.
slops in a public toilet?
Because I was going to shower afterwards because I was in the university bathrooms, in the communal bathrooms.
Oh, I
So
thought you were like at a
yeah,
bar. I thought you were like a public bar.
no. I was hungover the next
Oh,
morning. Oh, dude, it
yeah.
was the worst
That
thing ever.
was
And
that was disgusting. That
there's
was
nothing I can
disgusting
do. I
visual.
can't like get up and clean it because like still I'm still trapped.
So what do you do?
Yeah, you just wait till you're done. I was done pooing, and then I had to clean it up and
Oh,
then
oh
have a
wait, you were
shower.
taking a shit this whole time in the story?
Oh yeah, you know that. Yeah, I was
Oh,
shitting
I
the whole
missed that
time.
detail.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
no,
I
it
missed that
was. I
detail.
was trying to
Oh,
be
you're
vague about it.
sitting.
I'm
Oh, I
sitting.
understand why you're.
Yes, yeah,
Oh, that is rank.
yes. It was the
That
worst
is
thing
disgusting.
that's ever happened. Well, not the worst thing
That
that's ever
was
happened, but it's
that was a very disgusting experience.
yeah, man. So yes, that
Wow.
sucked. Um, but
Yeah. So yeah, just going back to sickies
yeah, going back
and
to sickies, avoid.
and trying to relate them to mental health.
Yeah,
We kind of took a detour there. Yeah, Wednesdays, Thursdays, got to be early, got to use the stomach,
yes, those are all
and
very very good tips.
no one can touch you.
Yeah, nothing you can do about that. 100%.
Yeah.
Something else I wanted to talk about because I was having this conversation with a Greek guy. Okay. And I was in a room with a Greek guy and an American guy, and then like a bunch of other people from all over the world. And this Greek guy was saying, I find it crazy how in America, someone says they are Mexican American or Greek American or Italian American. They're not just American, they are something American. Whereas in Greece, you're just Greek. No matter what are you Greek, that's your whole thing, right?
Yeah.
And then I said to this guy, listen, I think you are come from a position where your country has existed for like 3,000 years. So you have that kind of heritage and that's you can feel like, okay, cool, my people, whatever, have existed for this long. Whereas someone like as a South African, our country has existed for like 25 years or something along those lines. Like it hasn't existed for like a long time.
In its latest form. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know what I mean? Like kind of I don't think we count before 94.
Yeah. We had no idea what was going on then.
Yeah, exactly. Like was it really South
Yeah.
Africa? I don't know.
Yeah. I
So
don't know what that was.
and then I started thinking like what is our identity? Because I mean you're a Xhosa South African, but now you live in Australia. I'm a half Greek, half whatever South African who now lives in Greece. How much of identity do we hold in ourselves? Like, how much do you think to yourself, I am a South African? Or do you think yourself, I'm Australian? Or I'm Xhosa? What do you think?
Oh, you're going deep here.
Yeah, it's going to get deep.
You're going very deep. Okay. How do I identify my identity? So I think you always try to stick to your roots. First of all, to your Greek friend, yeah, of course everyone's Greek. Ain't nobody trying to live in Greek no more. Come on, bro. A lot of the countries that sort of deal with these identity, I don't want to say crises, but like identity thoughts, or
Yeah, sure.
it's usually it's because you're in places where there's high migration. America, land of opportunity. It's got high migration population. Similar with Australia, high migration population. Similar with England, high migration population. So I definitely think it is about sort of sticking to your roots, or at least understanding your roots. But I think fundamentally, I still strongly identify as a South African, as a Xhosa man. I mean, if you knew things I had to do to be a Xhosa man, you'd hold on to that shit for dear life as well. Um, but I also think that society, or at least society in my world, is moving more towards the individual. That there isn't this sort of like, hey, you got to come. And that's another thing I used to say to a lot of my friends at the time, particularly like my black friends. They'd always be like, "Oh, you got to come home. You got to come home." I'm like, bro, do you think Greek people go to Greece and say you got to come home to people like Greek people, or Jewish people say to Jewish other people when they go to Israel, "Hey, man, you got to come home back to." It's like no, it's just a mindset. So I definitely think that yeah, we're moving more towards the individual. Look, that's a good and a bad thing. The individual has more choice, but then there can be that loss of culture and identity. I think that's the cost
Sure.
that we get. Yeah. How would you say you identify with this?
Because I mean, I think like there's I think you're right. I think as we move towards a more internationalized world, yeah, we've all become like citizens of the world. We travel around, we meet people from all over. But I still hold a lot of stock in the fact that I am South African and I am African, which
Yeah.
which is also controversial because a lot of people would say, no, you're not African. You may
Oh,
be South
they mean
African.
girls you. They mean girls you. Yeah.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
that scene in Mean Girls?
It's like,
You're from
yeah,
Africa, but you're white.
the amount of times people have told me that is, and I say that definitely in being away from home, people go like, dude, but are both your parents from South Africa? It's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Did your parents move to South Africa? No, no, no. My family's been here for
No,
like 300
they
years.
were both born there. I've been born there.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
like, it's interesting because I think like, so I think there was an argument for a while. It's like, if you are white, you cannot be African. And I kind of think to myself, like, I was born in South Africa. I was born in Africa, grew up with other African people, listen to African music, listen, you know what I mean? Like try to learn languages that I would have never learned otherwise. And there's a lot of me that feels very African. But people will tell me that I'm not African. And I think it's like I'm not sure if it's like a woke thing or a like no, shut up, whitey, this is not your time. But in my mind, I feel African. So
Yeah. I think that comes to the ignorance of people who aren't from Africa. You know, like it's almost that typical thing of when I meet. Oh fuck! I hate meeting people who in Australia. I hate meeting people like who know other people from Africa.
oh yeah,
Hey, I've got Do you know Jabuan? I've got a mate in Ghana. You reckon you met him?
Jabuan. Oh yeah, I know
You,
Jabuan. Yeah, 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 I know the guy.
yeah, yeah. Oh, in Ghana?
Yeah, dude, it's
Yeah, yeah,
around the
yeah,
corner.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, great lad.
Down the
Love
road.
him.
Yeah.
Oh, when jokes meet. Oh yeah, I'll call him.
Yeah. Oh,
I was like,
Jabuan. What a weird guy. Yeah.
these guys
Um.
have no idea of what Africa entails, South Africa entails. And, particularly South Africa, it's a multinational country.
Yeah.
It's bred from like large sums of migration throughout the years,
Sure.
throughout its existence. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's an ignorant thing. You show me, oh, you ignorant.
But
Just
I
call them
mean,
out. Oh,
but a
you
lot of a lot
ignorant.
of South Africans will say that to me, and I mean,
Oh,
yeah. And fair enough. I don't want to sound like a win.
they
Like
call European. Did you? European.
yeah, no, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
And I don't sound like a
yeah,
whinging white here, like, oh, shame, poor white guy who doesn't have an identity. But I mean, but where do me as an individual, where do I say, I'm saying
yeah,
I identify as an African, or I identify
yeah.
as a South African. You know what I mean?
As a European, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I have seen this when they colonizer, European, and you're like, wait, but I embody all those things. Those words aren't. Like
sure.
I live. I'm speaking from your perspective. You're like, wait, no, not me though. Like I embody everything South Africa is. Why am I getting pulled into this lump sum
Yeah,
that I'm not
exactly.
actually associated with? Why can't I? And look, dude, that is the great conversation of South Africa now, right? It's the like, do we just cast out white people and call them all Europeans, or do we try to learn about one another and try to live out Mandela's dream? Sorry to get real deep on you guys right now.
Sure.
But yeah, it's you're dealing with a pretty tough situation
It's
because in
yeah,
certain rooms you're celebrated, in other rooms you're not.
yeah, 100%. And maybe
Yeah,
that's
and
kind
the
of
history books did that.
sure.
Unfortunately, it's
Yeah.
it's like it's unfair.
It's unfair, but as again, I don't want to come off as like a whinging white guy. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, but it's a confusing situation. So like I never want to like I don't want to be in a situation where I meet another South African, like I meet like a black South African, and I say, oh, I'm African, or I'm South African. And they say, and I offend them by me claiming that connection to the land. Whereas,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? But I mean,
Look,
but
I
what else do I say? Do I
yeah,
say
and look, it would be easy for me right now to go on the one end and be like, yeah, you're not a South African. You weren't people of this nation, but like, it's just way more nuanced than that.
Yeah,
It's just such a cop. Yeah, it's yeah, it's just so much more nuance to your situation and to any individual. And we always talk about that, right? We always talk about, as soon as you start talking in these general terms and you box people in, you're not you're not actually being accurate and true. Do you know what I mean? I can just say, oh, all these white people or all these black people, but then it's just, life is just way more nuanced than that.
that's true.
So I'm sure,
It's not as black and white as that. Tudums.
no,
But
it's not. And I think, and yeah, and I think there's definitely rooms you can walk into, and there's black people, you can be like, I'm African, and people are like, yes, you are. And there's other rooms you can walk in and you say you're African, and they'd be like, fuck no, you aren't.
yeah, and that's
Not a
controversial,
fucking chance.
which is also fine. Like I don't mind that if people don't appreciate that. But at the end of the day, as the descendant of colonizers, I'm a South African, as Brad Pitt is American, and as Shane Warne is Australian, and you know what I mean.
Exactly, yeah. But it
It's
only but it I guess it particularly matters given South Africa's history.
yes,
Like I
of
said, the
course.
history books wrote this out. That's your issue. It's that, so they came to South Africa, thought they were going to pull in Australia or in America, but the natives were like, "Nah, bro, we here.
Like no, we're not going to do that.
No, no, we here. We here to rumble. We
We're not doing,
we here to
we're not going
rock."
to play it. Oh, you want us?
Oh yeah, so,
You want
yeah.
us to do the farms? No, no thanks.
No, no, no. So yeah,
That's
I mean, look, yeah, maybe being a South African, completely different story. If we were, what in Australia, indigenous people account for 2-3% of the entire population.
that's nuts.
So white guy saying I am Australian.
There's not a lot of
Okay,
people who can say no.
exactly.
Mm.
Or and yeah, it's just one of those things where it's not a conversation that everyone's about to have. But I guess you being in South Africa, and being African, being in a country where it is ruled by the majority, it is ruled by the natives of the land. You're just gonna deal with the way the history books are written.
Mm. I mean,
But
yeah.
it's a very, very like interesting and complex situation.
I mean,
I'm
it's
not gonna
super
lie. Now that
complex.
I think about it, now that you gave the example of like America, Australia, and then you put it to South Africa, I'm like, whoa,
It's
that is actually
yeah,
very interesting. Yeah,
sure.
that is something to ponder on.
And look, I don't want to look. For me, I'm. Someone can say I'm European, and I have to take that on the chin because I do have another passport. I can go to other places. You know what I mean? Like that's a thing. So I can take that on the chin. You
Yeah,
know?
but who do you identify as? Who does
Yeah.
Nicholas McGregor identify as?
Me identify as a South African. I grew up in South
Exactly,
Africa. My friends are South African. I, you know what I mean? Like, it's culturally, what am I if not South African?
exactly. Yeah,
Am I an English person with a funny accent? Am I a Greek person who
and
can't speak the
I think
language?
because you come from such a what's the word, cultural rich society. Like, culture is rich in South Africa.
Dude, so rich.
So when people say like I'm South African, there's such a it's so encompassing, the term of that. Like, you know what I mean? But other countries where the culture isn't that deep, it's just like, yeah, I'm from here.
Yeah.
So I
Like,
can see
yeah, it's
why
fine.
you're very proud about this. Why this would ponder on you.
Super passionate. I think about the things that happen in South Africa that happen nowhere else in the world, and we kind of forget about that. Like, I was watching, what's that? That song, Zoopim Tagamama, and it's that Saint Stithians video where they're
Yeah, yeah.
singing the song at the rugby game. So I was listening to
Oh,
that earlier.
school rugby culture. Yeah,
Yeah, and I showed that to my Finnish roommates, and she was watching this. She's like getting goosebumps. She's like, "Why are they doing this?" I'm like, "That's just what we had to do every Saturday to watch when we had to watch rugby." She was like, "I've never seen anything like this in my entire life." I was like, "Dude,
and
this
it
is
was
just
no debate. Full uniform.
like
You're there at 2 o'clock.
where do you get that kind of culture anywhere else in the world? Like unbelievable. Singing like I don't know, like hundreds of year old songs at a rugby game, everyone together singing like and harmonizing. It's an unbelievable experience, and you just don't
Yeah,
get that
you
anywhere
don't.
else.
We'd actually. You remember we used to practice that shit.
I do remember that.
Like, we lost breaks practicing war cries,
Yeah, and you know
and it
what?
was just a thing.
I would never take those breaks back because
Oh
those
yeah, do it all over again. Do it again.
yeah S-
You do it
s-
all over again. Hey,
Dude,
you do it all over again in a heartbeat. Actually,
what is the first team field? Mashati Field?
Mushati, yes, Mushati.
Winter afternoon, like 1 o'clock, watching first team. There was a guy next to you, like grabbing his blazer. He's grabbing your blazer, and you like singing like your life depends on it. Is the most unbelievable thing. It's the most unbelievable experience. I would never, you know what I mean? Like, which is just like obviously a very small part of the, I don't know,
Unit,
canvas
yeah,
that is South African society and culture.
yeah. That was the most disappointing thing, or not the most, but it was one of the most disappointing things when I first got to Perth. It's just how there was no there was no like sports fixture culture.
Mm,
Like kid, you could just do whatever you want.
I hate
I
that.
was like, what is this?
Yeah.
We don't all sit and watch the first team.
It's like, but what do you do with your Saturday afternoons? Like, what do you?
Yeah, and apparently, yeah, you can do whatever you want. I was like, what?
Crazy.
Like, how you? What? Makes
Yeah.
no sense.
I mean, when I went to England, it's like the first team's playing, and there's like 12 people watching. And I'm like, where's the school? Like, what? You know, like, why aren't they here? This is ridiculous. And like, you miss that. You realize, like, oh, what we have is special. It's different. It's not like anything else anywhere else.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, I think when you talk about topics such as identity and who I always say this, like, what if you walked up to the street or even a friend, you said, "Who are you?" Tough.
How do you answer that? Who are you?
It's a very tough thing to break down.
Or people ask, what are you? Is your
Because who
nationality the first thing that comes up, or is it your cultural heritage or your profession, or you know what I mean? Like when you think, what are you?
yeah, I think that's something the audience needs to ponder on. I don't know if I can give you the answer right now. I think I need to almost need to sit down and write it down
Mm,
because I think it's too. How do I say? Yeah, it's just too cheap to give you an off the bat. I am the son of. I work at. I am a profession. It's just like, yeah, who am I really?
yeah,
It's scary, right? Because it's almost
deep.
like if you answer that question, do you like who you are, or are you just who you are? And can
Just who
you
you
change
are.
that? Or actually, can't you change that?
Maybe you can't change who you are. And I mean, do you want to change who
And
you are?
that's
Because
scary.
I think we're told since we're kids that like you are special, and there's no one else in the world like you. And always be yourself. If you want girls to like you, if you want guys to like you, be yourself, and they will like who you are. But what if you shit? What if you shit? What if you just don't have anything to offer, really?
What
You're
if
just a
you
shit
actual
person.
shit?
Yeah, you're just bad.
Like
You're
you
just
give no
bad.
value.
You give zero value whatsoever. What then? How must you do with the world then? Do you get I think you dye your hair different colors. I think that's what people do. And people don't have actual value, they dye their hair colors or they get facial tattoos. So that because they can seem interesting.
Yeah,
That's
but I'll tell you a deeper one. Do
yeah.
they just find the person they like the most and emulate that person? And then the question is, when did that start happening for you as an individual? Were you always the person you exactly want? Or did you start to emulate people around you where you had things you desired about them? And maybe that's not who you are.
But I think that's natural, regardless. Because if we met each other when we were 14 and we've known each other for how many years that is. So we've
Yeah.
obviously grown with each other and changed each other and influenced each other in different ways.
Yeah.
So in that sense, of course, there's some alterations happening with the people that you meet in influencing. But then I think it's different to say, I I like Donald Glover. I want to be like Donald Glover. I'm going to act like Donald Glover. That's weird.
Yeah. That's a bit different. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think. I mean,
Look, I don't have the answers, Sway.
you ain't got the answers, way.
I ain't got the answers. I don't have the answers. That's a tough
Yeah.
one.
Mm,
Like, who are you? What are
mm.
you?
What are you?
And can you change it? And are you willing to change it? And what does that mean once it's changed? Or were you always who you were?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
but I
think I
mean,
think
I've got a little bit of a rebuttal. We can cut
yeah,
it
go
if it's
for
not
it.
good. how do you know who you are? How do you know how you come off to other people? So you might think that you're like a really quiet, introverted person, but to someone else, you think you're actually really gregarious and confident and out there. But you don't really know how people perceive you unless you ask them. And if you ask them, people always have agendas. So you never know if their answer is correct or not. So it's always an interesting conversation. Like how do you actually come off? Do you know how you come off? And do you know what kind of person you are? Because you're only the person that you are in your own head.
Okay, we're going deep in the rabbit hole now. So are you saying, how do you know who you are, or how do you know who you are to others?
Well, so I think okay, that's a very good distinction. So if who you are is how other people perceive you, then you actually have no idea who you are. Or if it's who you are is what you have in your own head, then you know exactly who you are.
Yeah.
But if there's no way of determining this option of that personing of who you are in your own head, besides how other people perceive you, then how do you ever know who you actually are?
So what I'll say to that is, how you know who you are is based on your actions and who you like, who you see you are, because you your harshest critic. You know what to say to yourself to put yourself in a slump. You know the things you need to say to pump yourself up. Now, when it comes to how people perceive you, it doesn't actually matter.
Does it not
I
matter?
think I think it's a question that doesn't need to be answered, or at least a question you don't need to worry about, because ultimately it's not really in your control.
Yes,
Like,
it's
how
a good
people perceive
point.
you is how they perceive you. It's
Yeah,
done.
sure.
It's not. It's not. I don't think it's an answer you should try to define, if that makes sense.
So it's about being true to yourself in whatever you're doing,
Yeah,
regardless.
and figure it, like, look, life will give you sort of signals, and like you'll start to know, like, if you come to work every day with your shirt off and you say this is who I am,
Mm.
society will kind of, nah, not really.
No,
You
dude,
might be having a mental breakdown.
get back in the box.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
But to 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 try to define yourself based on how you're perceived, I don't think I don't think that's real, because you can always be perceived, like you said. People always have agendas.
Yeah.
You can always be perceived in a multitude of ways. You can say something, and one person can find the humor in it. One person can be offended. One person could be completely interested. One person can be uninterested. But you know sort of the value of what you're speaking and why it's true to you.
So so actually, who you are your intentions
Yeah, and your actions.
and your actions.
Yeah. So not just what you think, but what you do. Because a lot of people want things or believe they deserve things because of who they think they are, but then they execute things completely different to that person who they think they are. I think I could run a business. I think I could lead a team, but there's no leadership to be found when you have to act in those positions. So it is all encompassing. And again, it's a very complex question. It's an extremely complex question,
Mm.
actually. I don't want to see there's so much nuance into who is what makes an individual its truest form and its truest self. And
Whew.
most people spend their entire lives figuring that out.
Deep.
Very deep. So yeah,
Yeah.
who are you and what are you?
Think about that.
I think we need to let people, you guys, think about that. If you're washing your dishes, if you're driving your car, if you're staring at a spreadsheet you've been staring at for the last hour, think about that.
Love that.
I think we're gonna leave him there.
Cool.
Here ends the reading, as Mr. Pinnock would say.
Amen. Okay, love you. Bye.
Love you back. Cheers.